Weekend review, Monday, August 25th, 2025. This past weekend, I did a lot of traveling. I went to College Station, Texas, to go to the BCS Classic. The BCS Classic is a pair event that Charlie Lima runs, and Charlie Lima has been around. He said I actually taught his level 1 in 2009. It's been around for a very long time. Opened up an affiliate in College Station. He owns 2 now there, and for 15 years has run this event called the BCS Classic. It's a community event, and it seems like for the last 15 years, he's invited me to go out to this event. I've never been able to go out, so he asked me every year, and this year he asked me multiple times. So I decided, since I was going to go to Columbus anyways, it was the same weekend, that I would drop in and see this. So I flew into Houston on, I guess it was Thursday night, drove to College Station, about an hour and 45 minutes, I think. College Station seemed pretty cool. Stayed in a nice little hotel near the venue, and then the next morning went over to the event, and it was really cool setup. It's in this equestrian, or not equestrian, maybe like rodeo setup, and they had multiple floors. They had 3 different floors. They had a lot of equipment from Rogue. They had a lot of volunteers and 500 teams. So 500 teams of 2 show up to do this thing. And for the short, I was only there for a few hours because then I had to fly out to go to Columbus. But from the short time I was there, the vibe and the people I met, the affiliates, the community, it was really powerful and it was really cool. It's definitely that type of event is, we should have been from a long time ago. We should have done stuff like that. We should have hosted and put on events like that. It kind of reminds me of NorCal Classic in some of that community feel, large event community feel vibe. But it's something that I think we should do in the future. I think we should lean in with some of these guys and even just help them out or have an affiliate gathering there. But it was neat to see all the people that were fired up, and they had a lot of divisions, a lot of different scale divisions, a lot of different male, female, RX, scaled. So, very cool event. Glad I went. He wants me to compete. Last year he asked if I'd compete with Chase. He thinks next year I should compete with Chase or Adrian. I'm thinking about it. I think that'd be fun. But I definitely, depending on when it falls in the schedule next year, and basically they told me it's always the week before the Texas A&M starts their football season, because once Texas A&M starts their football season, everything's booked up and everything becomes really expensive, so they do it the weekend before. But I'm really glad I went. If you guys are in the Texas area, or really anywhere, there's actually a lot of affiliates from even Mexico. A lot of people from Mexico went out to compete, and others from nearby states. But if you're in that area and you're looking for a well-run, good competition, 2-day competition, and that's like pretty cool too. Just a 2-day, 4-event competition. A lot of people I talked to have done it multiple years in a row. So check it out, the BCS Classic, put on by Charlie Lima in College Station, Texas. And then I went to the Masters event. So that night, I left BCS, went back to Houston, flew to Columbus, and was in Columbus for the Masters event the next morning. So that was Saturday morning, and I spent a majority of the morning there. And again, like, really cool community event. It was a really large venue. That the setup they had was big. They had a lot of space. They had a lot of floors. I actually said to them, I told them, I'm like, hey, you guys are doing a lot. Like, you guys have a lot of things going on. I gave them a few ideas on how I would have maybe scaled down some of the setup and maybe simplified it, but it looked really good. There was a lot of fans there. The energy and like the setup, the bleacher size, and all of that was pretty spot on for how they built it out. So from what I saw, everything I saw looked really good. In terms of fan engagement, the athletes, all the athletes that I talked to that came up to me, were really happy with the event. I know there's been some chatter. Some people are not excited about some of the programming, some of the judging stuff. So there's a lot to work on to make it better. but I think it's heading in the right direction. I also think it's interesting because in the programming aspect, I was watching some of the stuff they did, and then I saw some of the clips of some of the kettlebell issues, and I kind of wish I would have given them the advice that I took this season, with just like simplify it and just like do things that are really straightforward. And even in this going back to the classic, I was thinking about it in relation to what we did, going back to like just classic CrossFit and simplifying things. That also really played into movement standards and judging. And so even when we briefed the judges at the games, I told them there, like the first time I talked to them, and pretty much the only time I engage with them in a group setting like that, I said, hey, this stuff's all really, what we're doing at the games is all really straightforward. So we're actually setting up you guys for success. We're setting you guys up for success, setting the athletes up for success, and by doing the core straightforward movements. I think a little bit of that might have been lost in the actual application of some of their programming. And we did look at it, our team did look at it, and we did sign off on it, but we weren't going to come in and just put the hammer down and say, change all of this. Maybe we should next year, I don't know. We'll have a discussion with them and we'll take a look. But overall, I think the athletes seem to be really happy with it. The fans enjoyed it. From what I saw, I think they did a good job. So pretty cool event and good vibe there too. Hybrid Level 2. So about 2 weeks ago, we launched something called the Hybrid Level 2. And what the Hybrid Level 2 is, let me even give you a little history of how we even got to this point. So in 2020, when COVID hit, Greg said, hey, let's take the Level 1 online. So because we were having to cancel all of our courses. So a group of us flew to Santa Cruz, where at that time we had our media office, and brought some of our best trainers out. And we filmed all the lectures for the content, and filmed it in a setting with professional cameras and lighting, etc. And kind of iterated and discussed how we could do this where we take the Level 1 online. So the filming aspect of it, the content side of it, was the easy part. You got to remember, or you don't have to remember it, let me tell you, 50% of the Level 1 is lecture, 50% of the Level 1 is movement. So basically in the morning it starts off with a lecture, a couple lectures, and then you go out and do movement for about an hour, and it rotates back and forth. So taking those lectures and putting them online was going to be easy. The hard part was how were we going to solve for actually the in-person movement. So what we ended up deciding there for the OL1, for the online L1, is the movement sections would be its own group of its own thing that was a few hours, several hours of Zoom. And so for those of you who have taken the OL1, you know that you do the lectures on your own at your own convenience. You watch them, review all the material, and then you have to schedule a Zoom session where there's about 7 other people and one of our trainers, and they teach you the movements and walk through the movements. It's a compromise for sure. It's not ideal, but within a few months, within a month and a half or so, we were able to create this OL1 and launch it through COVID. And that actually really it helped us a lot through that period because, the world was shutting down. And it's still to this day, the OL1 is a great option for people around the world, especially if you can't get to a Level 1 or there's not a Level 1 in your area for the time you need it. So the OL1 continues to this day to be an option for people. Is it as good as going to the 2-day? No, we recommend going to the 2-day for sure, so you're not doing the movement stuff over the Zoom. Well, recently, when we made the requirement for all affiliate owners within 1 year of opening up their affiliate to have a Level 2, we then started, we had to schedule a lot more Level 2s, and people started, asking about specific dates or specific locations. And some people said, hey, going to the 2-day course, taking my whole weekend to do that is a lot. And so we actually challenged the team and said, hey, could we do something? Could we have an OL Level 2, an online Level 2? And so gave that to the team, asked them to work on it. They basically came back after a few weeks, and intuitively, you knew this was going to be the answer, but I wanted to press them and see what was possible. And they said, no way, no chance. Because, so at a Level 2, you do lectures and then you do breakouts. And in the breakouts, you're actually teaching and you're working with people. Whereas in the L1, you're being taught how to do the movements and you're given feedback on you doing the movements. In the level 2, you are teaching others to do the movements and you're giving them feedback. And then the third person, our coach, is giving you feedback on your teaching and on you conveying this to the members, the clients, the participants, essentially. So capturing that on a true like OL1 format, creating the OL2 like that, the team came back and said, that's not going to happen. So we looked at other options, and basically, as I said with the level 1, 50% of the level 1 is lecture and 50% is movement. It turns out that's about the same ratio for the level 2. 50% of the level 2 is lectures, and then the other half is in-person movement. So we came up with this concept of, why don't we do a one-day version of the L2? And what the one-day version, and we call this a hybrid level 2. What the one-day version is, essentially, we'll take all the lecture content, film it, and we'll put it online, and you can go through the lecture content at the convenience, at your own convenience at home, and finish it when you finish it. And then all you have to do is go to a one-day in-person seminar, a one-day in-person level 2, where it's all the movements. So what does that get you? What does that capture? Basically, if you're running a gym, if you're a small business owner and you have a gym and you're the head trainer, or you're the owner and you're the only one who runs all the classes, and you can't give up your Saturday, well, now there's this one-day course, which is just on Sunday, where basically all of the movement that you do in the in-person level 2 is consolidated to just that day. And so even I think about people in San Diego who need the level 2. Again, this concept of, instead of taking the whole weekend to take it, if there's a course in LA, you could wake up, drive a couple hours Sunday morning, do the course, and drive home Sunday night and have done the requirements for the level 2. So is it a compromise from the experience? Slightly, yes. It's not the 2-day experience where you're engaged with our trainers the whole time throughout the lectures and through the movements, but the movement aspect is still captured. It's still one full day of you teaching and of people giving feedback. I think when we first launched it, there was a lot of criticism. People thought we were making it like the OL1, where it's all online and where the movement part is via Zoom, but that's not the way it is. It's you have to go to essentially one day. So I believe, and I think it's a great option for people who don't want to commit to the 2 days and want to knock out this qualification. So we currently have them posted for November and December in Seattle, Miami, Dallas, Atlanta, London, San Diego, and Brooklyn. And you can find this on our website. But I did, and when people started criticizing it and talking about it, it was kind of because they didn't understand all the detail I'm saying here. And Hobart, James, actually got into the comments and started answering. And once he explained what the hybrid L2 really was, people backed off and kind of understood, okay, this makes sense. So all the lectures taken out, put online, and then all the movement stuff that you do at the L2, the normal L2, you're still doing at this hybrid L2, but all in one day. So I think it'll still be a great experience. It'll still make great coaches, and still be a good option for those who are looking for their L2 and maybe don't have the time or don't want to spend a couple nights on a hotel, et cetera, et cetera. So we're still going to do the L2. So we're going to have both options for now, and we'll see how it goes. Maybe this one doesn't work at all and nobody likes it, and maybe we phase it out. Maybe this one becomes incredibly popular and everybody's taking this, and then we phase out the other one. Maybe they both continue, and so we'll see where it goes, which direction it goes, but excited to offer it and excited to see how people respond to it. All right, comments. Jar Jar loves CrossFit. Dave, if the Masters and age groups don't come back together with the regular games, can we at least get the same team to program for them? Last 2 years, the programming has not been good. I talked a little bit about that. I don't know. At racks on racks on racks. Hey, Dave, I know this may be a delicate topic and the games just ended, but any thoughts on if we're ready to see a swimming event next year, perhaps in a controlled environment like a pool? While some may not find it necessary, it does give a more well-rounded demonstration of fitness. One of my favorite events ever has been swim and stuff. Thanks as always. Yeah, I would like to see swimming come back, so possibly. We'll see where we can go with that. At Fran 2159, you said you were going to have Tyson Bagent do something at the CrossFit Games. What did he do? So at the last minute, he wasn't able to. The Bears basically wouldn't let him travel. I mean, he's in season pretty much, even though it was preseason. So we were kind of disappointed, but his dad still came out, and his dad ran an amazing arm wrestling competition and a competition clinic and tournament. If Tyson was going to come out, though, we were going to, he's going to but he was going to start a workout like 3, 2, 1, go. I think we're going to try to do that on the run. And then we're also going to have him throw footballs into the crowd. So we would have had a lot of fun with him. It's a bummer he didn't come out. And he just got congratulations to the Bagent family on this 2-year extension. Well-deserved. And then he threw 3 touchdowns, apparently, in the fourth quarter. I didn't see it, but Sevon was telling me he had a really 3 touchdowns in towards the end of the fourth quarter. At 2, Drew Peanuts. I recently heard about Killing the Fat Man. I've been watching it. Is there any way a 3rd season could happen? So inspiring. Ask Sevon. Maybe he can start Killing the Fat Man season 3. At Boards and Beers, Dave, you heard of the WOD. Frank 2159, thrusters at 125.95, and ring muscle ups. Would you ever program that for the games? That does sound like that's something that could totally be programmed at the games level. At Poor Wheel Drive 4856, hey Dave, have you mentioned the thought of taking the games globally? Could you possibly look into a thing like the Olympics do? Cities around the world put in applications to host. Local governments offer money to put towards the event, and it's announced at the award ceremony at the end of the games the year before. The next games will be held Sydney, Australia. I live in Australia and would love to see the games live. Thoughts? So we do put the games out to bid, and cities do bid on it, and we do go through a process like that. What you're talking about where we were able to announce at the games, that would be cool to get to at some point, but we're definitely not there now. At David Wide, blocking people is gay. So he's talking about, I talk about often actually, or not often, but I address this. I block people all the time on my social media accounts. If I see someone saying something really derogatory or over the top, I just don't want them on my channel, and so I'll just block them. On that note, I actually met for the first time John Woolley this weekend at the event. Patrick Clark called me over, and he introduced me to John. John said, "Nice to meet you." He was a really nice guy. We chatted for a few minutes. He mentioned the affiliate he owns and who trains there with him, and it went fine. And then I said to him, I'm like, "Hey, I don't even remember why I blocked you, but I'm also not going to unblock you." So, and he laughed, and we had a good laugh. So cool meeting him. Enjoyed the experience. At Patrick Fitz 30, everyone points to Tia. Okay, hold on. Let me go with this one first. At Will FU3PP. By the way, the Pegboard event was an epic failure, and it played over into multiple later events due to the extra work output. Namely, Tia loses event 4 because her arms are blown up from strict pegboards. And then this guy said, not to him, but this guy also said, at PFits30, everyone points to Tia formerly doing good on pegboard. She also wasn't wearing grips and had 1/10 the amount of chalk on the one she did well on versus this one, huge grips, tons of chalk, and chalked her feet. Tia isn't perfect. Well, there you go. Different opinions and different perspectives on what went on there. At Adrian Conway, let's call it the CrossFit Combine. Get it trademarked. Would love this and would love to help and think this is something affiliates could even do and get excited about annually. I've considered this for years. Lean into true fitness is a compromise, as this will show how the highest jumper may be limited in the cardiorespiratory endurance test and vice versa, etc. But it is a test if single modality changes, not necessarily to find the fittest, but simply an expression of their balance across the 10 general physical skills. I like that concept. I do think it's a little different than what I'm talking about. I do think a CrossFit Combine and a Combine is a good idea for CrossFit. I think I actually had someone from our programming team, work on a number of events. It was 7 events that kind of like a heptathlon or a decathlon, but actually, I forgot if it was 7 or 8, whatever. A number of CrossFit events. So what we're talking about here is a little different. A number of CrossFit events that people could do as a measure to show overall fitness, and something that's like a benchmark that's every year. So kind of like the CrossFit Total, but with Fran or Cindy or other things. And you could do all 7 throughout the year and have this overall measurement of Combine, like you're describing, is a little different, which I think is cool too, and single modality tests and things like jumping, throwing, etc., lifting. But what I'm talking about with the not CrossFit Games, I kind of don't want to get sucked into a single format, meaning come up with when I hear combine, I hear something that's fixed. With the not CrossFit Games, I'd like to be able to, one year do a high rocks, the next year maybe we do a triathlon, like even play with the things we can do. So have the ability to, one year maybe we're doing the long jump, maybe the next year we're doing a triple jump or high jump, etc. I do think I've thought about it more. Categories of jumping, I think there should be a few in the jumping. Categories of throwing, then there could be some lifting stuff, then maybe some category of running. So there's a lot of fun things we could do with the not CrossFit Games. At Kevin Steiner 8710, do you ever change your answer to a question knowing that Sevon is going to review it? No. At Danielle McIntosh 9756, what goes into the decision making to drop into an affiliate for your tour? Is it random or planned out from the beginning? Are there any specific qualities or years the box has to be open for you to visit? Thanks for everything you do. It's really random. 99% of the time, I don't even tell the affiliate owner I'm coming over when I travel. I also make sure they're a CrossFit affiliate. That's like the one requirement. Like you have to, I don't drop into gyms that aren't CrossFit gyms, or I don't drop into gyms that were formerly CrossFit gyms that dropped their affiliate. So that's the big thing. At New Western Hunter, so that's my buddy Jesse. He was actually he came up to me and he was competing in Columbus on a team, and they were in 7th place. And I asked, out of how many teams? And he said 7. So he said it was really hard competition for the team side, but he had a lot of fun. I did not get that deer yet. At Anthony Pod 2257, would you ever let Hiller come do a day in the life with TDC? Nope. At Sam Valenzuela, is there an option for garage affiliate or home gym affiliate? There needs to be, and we need to work on that. I think it's, yes, we need an option for a garage gym and home gym affiliate. I'm kind of disappointed we don't have one, but maybe we can get to a point where we do. And then on that, or finally before I go, I saw that Hiller started this daily review or weekly review, like a news update. I don't know what's going on there, but Dents from that same Sevon world, same Sevon team, she already does that. So I don't know if Hiller is just trying to take her momentum or see, because she's doing great. Dents is gaining a lot of attention, a lot of views, and it's actually, if you want to just kind of be updated on what's going on in CrossFit, go look at her page, and she throws up updates that aren't just, the thing about what Hiller does, it's just like mostly his opinion and his fucking rants and shit. I don't care what he thinks 99% of the time. So if you just want to see what's going on or want to see things that are happening, Dents does that. But Hiller recently started the same thing. So he essentially imitated, copied, or replicated what she's doing. I don't know why. I don't know what that's about. I wonder if there's a little, because I did also see he recently commented saying something she did around the Danielle Brandon stuff was stupid or dumb. He said something negative about it. So if you guys are in that little world, that little Sevon world, pay attention to like this dynamic going on there, because the fact that he started that up and he's taken a few jabs at her, I think is interesting. So if you guys are in that world and find that stuff entertaining, pay attention to the Hiller Dents dynamic. All right, that's the week in review. If you have any comments, leave them here and I'll try to address them next week. Thanks. Bye.